All right, now that that cache is written out, let's go take a look. Load from disk. Fluid B. All right, there we go. Now we can see as we step through that we'll start to get some pretty neat shapes the longer it lives. Very cool. So there we are in frame 4. Let's see where we are around frame 8. I think we'll probably want to look a little closer at what's going on in 4, but let's see. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Let's say that that's what we're looking for. Now we can do what we've done before. Throw down a color node. We can see that we have the age and the rests and the vorticity that we're looking for. But what's going to be different about this method as opposed to our last one is this one's going to give us the opportunity to have some cool stuff in terms of radiating out from the center. And you'll see that here in just a second. So if you go with age, there we go. And so now you'll see that we can do some really cool stuff where this is, really close to some of our reference that we were looking at initially. Actually, let me go grab that. Okay, so here's some reference. So what we're going to see is that basically we'll get that color variation emanating out from the start, which is the center of what would be this star exploding or these gases being formed. And the color then radiates out in terms of the visible spectrum of light. So like you get that white hot center falling off to the darker oranges and reds and things like that. So let's say that we're going to use something like this as our inspiration for the color. So we'll start with a white hot center, going to blues and greens, then back out to the yellows and reds and purples and things like that. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and change this guy to be our white hot center. Okay, and then let's start to introduce our blues. And again, we can manipulate our ranges. Okay, and let's take this guy out to the red zone. Okay. Alright, so we can, again, just keep sort of playing with our ranges. Just giving us different looks. Okay. Walk that back some more. Okay. All right. Starting to get somewhere. Now let's see. Deep in here, we want the blue, but we want it to be slightly aqua aquamarine, maybe? It's all about the gradations and variations. Okay. Again, starting to think about our reference in terms of a white hot center radiating outwards. That white hot center, we can probably clamp that back a little bit more if and when we start responding. Okay, let's come down here. Right on the edge of town. Let's start throwing in a little bit of that green. Not quite so lit. Let's bring it a little bit back towards the blue. Just a touch. And we'll only have that green be in there just a smidge. Because it's just really sort of an accent as we go from that bluish out to our yellows and reds. There we go. Let's get some purple in there. On our way out. So again, you can even see here like sort of this white hot into the purples and blues, the blues into the green, and just following the color wheel down the line. Okay, and then after this green, let's start to introduce some orangish yellow. And then from there, we'll walk that out into our true red. Let's get just a tinge of orange in there. Let's see, what would it get me? Just a little bit. Okay, got that red. I would like just a little bit more orange to that red, but that's okay. Now let's take this out finally to a dark purple. Yeah. All right. And then now let's see, what if I give this a negative value? Should walk some of that super hot white back. Bring all these colors back. Alright, still just playing with these ramps. What if... Yeah, see, that's going to take it back too far in that direction. Yes, that's too strong that way. Goes 0. Maybe if I just bring this purple back. Too far. That's interesting. But not what I intended. So we'll get this guy back a little further. Okay. Alright, so then I went with ultimately negative 0.0001, just that purpley pink back into that center. Alright, so I think that's a pretty cool color ramp. Alright, so we've got a pretty cool ramp here. And now you can cycle through some of the other attributes that we have in here. For example, velocity. And you'll see that, you'll get all kinds of different color looks that you can also use your ramp to drive, but they'll give you just a little bit of different accumulations in different areas. For example, our rest. So there's different things to keep in mind that will help you color your nebulas and get you, the variation and the visual interest that you're looking for. But for me, let's go ahead and stick with this age. And before we move forward, let's just go ahead and save, especially with as laggy as my machine is being at the moment. I trust nothing. Let's go ahead and save. Oops. V10. Alright. Alright, so now that we have our color dialed in, let's start rasterizing this and then look into shading. So let's halt this here and move on in the next section.